All right, great. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I know some of you are queuing up right now into our webinar. So looking forward to seeing everyone here today to talk about Kanban Plus. So I have with me two awesome people. David Anderson, who I've known for quite a few years now. He is the pioneer of the Kanban method, as well as the Kanban maturity model. And I also have with me today Anna Radzikowska, who's our Chief Innovation Officer and Integration Officer for a lot of products here at Kanban University, as well as the KMM Plus application and Kanban Plus, which we'll be talking about today. So I'm your host, Joey Spooner. I work with Kanban University. I am the Vice President of Product Management and Community Development here. And I'm looking forward to hearing about this Kanban Plus product, which I know Anna and David have been putting a lot of energy into. So for those who just joined us, about 70 plus of you now, right, at this point in time, I'd like to suggest that if you have questions, feel free to pop them into the Q&A section of our webinar. We'll do our best to answer them either during this session or right after David and Anna go through some of the features of this new product. All right, so David and Anna, I'm going to hand it over to you guys and let you go from here.
Hi, thanks, Joey.
Yeah.
So Joey's sitting in Washington D.C. and I'm here in our Austrian office. It's already dark outside. I can't see the mountains out of the window any longer. And Anya is over in our Bilbao office.
See. Okay, so maybe let me start. I will introduce the webinar agenda and then David, the stage will be yours. So we'll start with David presenting how the KMM Plus idea have evolved and how and why it changed it to Kanban Plus. And then I will show you how Kanban Plus is going to look. So there is already something to sneak into. Then we'll tell you what we plan next for Kanban Plus development, and we have a lot of plans for that. Then we'll tell you about how pre-sale is going to work, and again, stage back to Joey, but maybe also both of us for the Q&A session. Okay, so David, let's start.
Okay, so I just got a back channel message from one of our attendees who says that no one can see us.
So I think when we're in presentation mode, David, it might not allow us to share our faces. So I don't know if some of the folks in the background here can flip that switch on. If they can, they will. But in the meantime, we could go ahead and start walking through some of the.
I see. So some people are only seeing the PowerPoint slides and not our faces. Okay, so back in it's 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, in the height of the pandemic and the lockdown, Teodora Bojeva and I were finishing up the second edition of the Kanban Maturity Model book and the release of KMM 1.2. And I realized that we needed to do something different with the material, right? That we have Kanban fans and adopters all over the world. And in some of those countries, it's quite difficult to buy books that are published in Europe or the United Kingdom or North America. They're expensive. There's shipping charges. There's a lot of delay. There can be taxes when they're coming into the country. And some countries, the delivery companies refuse to deliver them. South Africa, for example, they often refuse to deliver because matching the address to the actual physical location can be so problematic. So we realized that publishing books wasn't reaching everyone and it wasn't accessible enough, right? That the prices were too high for many of you around the world. And then there's also the thing that a physical book is it's fixed and it might be several years before we publish another edition of it. So we needed a way to make not only the books more accessible globally, but to be able to communicate updates. And to do that, I wanted to do it online. Also, I felt that books and ebooks are very limited when an author puts a book together, and I've done 7, so I have some experience, you think about some essentially linear progression of what should be a story. And it should have some logic to it, and it has some value. But there might be occasions where the reader wants access to the information in a different way. Say, for example, tell me everything about how Kanban affects corporate culture. And you can't easily find that in the book. Maybe you look up the index, you find all the references to culture, and then you start clicking around different pages or flipping the physical book to different pages. On the other hand, what if we provided you a really nice poster or infographic that said Kanban and corporate culture? And that wasn't just something you put on the wall like the posters behind me. They were clickable. And that was my vision for the KMM Plus platform. Let's make the Kanban maturity model accessible from many different angles using visual posters to communicate things like culture and make them all interactive and clickable, take me directly to that material so I don't have to look up the index or find some difficult way of identifying the content. Also, it would be much better if we had direct contact with the readers. When someone buys a book from Amazon, we've no idea who you are. Amazon doesn't tell us. They might send us a little money thanking us for the customer that we've given them, but they don't tell us who that customer is. We've no idea who you are. We have a vague idea where you might be, at least in the aggregate sense, who's buying our books and where are they in the world. So we don't know who you are. We can't contact you. And it's not so easy for you to give us feedback. Where if we had our own platform, then we'd have a direct interaction with our customer base, and they would be able to provide us with information about what they're looking for, how they're trying to use our guidance, and how it could be better for them. So that was the original vision for our KMM Plus platform. And we put that together really very quickly in 2020 during the pandemic. And many of you will be subscribers on that platform. How many slides did we just slip through?
Sorry, it was some glitch here. So this is where we should be.
Very confused.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right. So the vision was to have this future platform be this one source of truth that's online. And of course, physical books still have their place. There's still a reason, a purpose for having physical books. But the latest material will always be available online. We wanted you to have the ability to search more easily and to be able to find the information that you were looking for when you needed it, whenever you needed it, and for that to be available on a handheld device or a laptop, computer screen, and not necessarily some big, heavy 500-page volume that you need to carry around in a backpack. And we can do so much more with the online platform than we can do with physical books. Right? Can we go back?
Oh, of course.
That we can add material that might not have found it into the book, the case studies, And in addition to that, once it's all available online, we have community members who have auxiliary material that is valuable to our community. And it gives us a platform to publish that. There are many of you around the world who also feel there's value in translating the material into your local language. And we've enhanced the platform to make that easy to do, so that we can have, much as we love to translate things, and we do translate them into Portuguese and Spanish and German and Chinese and so on, Russian, it takes time and it's expensive to get professional translations. And sometimes there's an advantage in having community members help us with the translation and bring it to the global audience faster. So we had KMM Plus, and we've had it for 3 years, and it was developed in a bit of a hurry. From a technology perspective, the platform wasn't capable of doing everything that we dreamed that we might do with it. So this year we've been completely re-engineering that platform. And also this year, my new book, Discovering Kanban, and the first volume of our Better with Kanban series, our recognition was that to replace this classic book, which sold about 100,000 copies, we needed more than one book. That we could sell you an 800-page book and it would have taken me 5 or 6 years to write, or we could produce multiple volumes. So we chose the multiple volume approach. And now we have Discovering Kanban Volume 1, the new series. And this is an opportunity for us to put all of the Kanban knowledge in one single place. And instead of KMM Plus, it makes sense to have Kanban Plus, and to have this, all of our content behind this one front door. Kanban Plus is the oracle of Kanban knowledge, and everything that we've learned over the past 15 years. So with a new platform, with new technology under the hood, we have the capability to bring you all the features and applications that we've been dreaming of the past 3 years. So we have new technology platform, we have a new book series, we have new content on using the Kanban method together with the Kanban maturity model and the fit for purpose framework. And all of that comes together in Kanban Plus.
Okay, so now it seems my part. So I would like to tell you about what David just introduced. So how this new Kanban Plus is going to look, and what do we plan for it for the nearest future, but also in the long term. So the first thing is that we are building the platform which we dreamed of, but we also use these 3 years to collect feedback from you. So hopefully a lot of things that you will see in Kanban Plus, when you start using it, you will realize that actually this is something that you asked us for, and what we decided to introduce in this new solution. So there are a couple of features, functionalities that come directly from your feedback and from what you are telling us. So this is where KMM Plus and this possibility of having direct contact with you was really helpful. And at the moment at KMM Plus, you can access Kanban maturity model and fit for purpose. With Kanban Plus, we will give you more flexibility in the way how you are creating the content for yourself. So you will be able to customize it, to choose what you want to see and what you want to have access to. So we start with 3 products, which is Better with Kanban series. Right now we have Discovering Kanban, but in the future there will be more. Kanban maturity model as KMM Plus, and Fit for Purpose as Fit for Purpose Plus. And they all will be separate products. we are doing it in a more user-friendly way, and we also rebuild the whole navigation, so to make it easily accessible for you. And we are also rebuilding and enhancing other features, for example, like corporate account access. So now you'll be, those of you who are accessing KMM Plus, both personally and as corporate users, now you don't need to switch between accounts. You will have access to this material from one account. We are also planning to introduce more corporate features, which will help you to work like a team, not only individuals. And also we'll be building tools, but about it in a moment. So right now I would like to show you the KMM, the Kanban Plus, and how it looks. So what you are seeing right now on my screen is personal account. So this is the place where you will be able to introduce your data, something that you already did, something that you already shared with us. So of course, first name, second name. You can introduce your bio. So for those of you who are contributors, you know what it serves for. So when you become contributor, when your profile becomes public, of course, when you agree for that, then you can share some information about yourself with other people using Kanban Plus. You can introduce your avatar, job title, role, position, where are you from, and what is purpose of subscribing to this platform. And if you know fit for purpose, you know that this is very important to us to understand why you are using Kanban Plus and what you are looking for and how we can make it better, how we can make it more fit for our customer purpose. You can also share with fellow Kanban lovers information about social media and where we can find you, and also agree or not agree to receiving information from us. Maybe what's important to underline here, if you agree to receive newsletters and information from us, we really try not to spam you with it, because we are also users of different platforms and different services, and we know that it's really not a good way of communication when we keep receiving a lot of information. So that's why we don't send it every day, and we always try to share with you some valuable information, new articles, new materials available. So if you decide to stay in touch with us, in each newsletter, you will receive at least some piece of information or access to new materials as the first ones, even before those people who are tracking our LinkedIn pages. So this is how your profile is going to look. And again, you will be able to very easily change it and update it. You can access this material in different languages. So those languages that we had available so far. But in the future, we also plan to expand the languages that our platforms will be available in. On the left, you can see all free products that are available right now and that will be available to you very soon. But let's start with the one which is new and you didn't have a chance to see it yet, so better with Kanban Plus. So going to the guts of Kanban Plus, on the top you can see where you are. So we are in Better with Kanban Plus posters view, Better with Kanban posters grid. And then when you look at the top at our menu, you can see that there's poster view, book chapters, downloads, videos, articles, and case studies. And I will show you each of them in a moment. But let's start with, I think that the most funny part, which is poster view. So right now we have 4 posters added. So these 4 are posters already covering part of the content from Discovering Kanban book. So this is something that we added so far. And at this view, you can see all of them. And here you can choose which poster you want to read or watch more about. And each of them will have short description, what it contains. Also on the left-hand side, you have the menu with all of the posters that you can access. So maybe let's try something totally new, which is Kanban in numbers. Now you can see that everything is available for you at one screen. So on the left-hand side, you have the poster menu with all sections which are mapped to this poster, then the description for each section and the poster itself. With left mouse scroll, you can zoom in and zoom out the poster easily. For that, you can also use the plus or minus sign on the right-hand side. And these three columns here are adjustable, so you can make it wider, you can make it thinner, whatever you like, whatever way you like to access it. And here on the poster itself, we of course have our famous sections. So you can highlight all of them to see what sections the poster cover, and you can switch off the highlighting. You can access these sections in different ways. You can either click on the section and it will zoom in on what you want to see, and immediately it will also display the text of the section on the left. You can access them from the menu on the left-hand side, or you can just use the arrows at the bottom. You have this animation which will bring you exactly to the place in the poster where you want to be or what you have chosen. But if you don't like this animation, you can always switch it off here and it will stop moving. But I like this animation, so I will keep it on. Also here in this setting section, you can adjust the scale of the whole screen, so you can make it bigger or smaller. You can adjust the size of the text to your current screen, so it's easily accessible and visible. So this is the way how you are navigating the new posters. Right now, these posters are a bit, these posters are pretty basic and a bit flat, but if you think about poster like practice map, you probably remember that it has a lot of different practices, like more than 150 practices spread across different maturity levels and general practices. So this type of posters will help navigation, which will help you to filter the content that you want to access. So for example, you will ask Kanban Plus, now show me all practices from maturity level 6, and the poster and the navigation will just filter these practices for your view. So this is something that we are working on right now, so to make it accessible when KMM Plus is already here. So this is the posters view. Then looking at the book chapters. So for those of you who are not familiar yet with the content, or you just like to read book from the first to the last chapter, or you just want to go directly to any of the chapters, you can go to this, this view. So this view basically covers the whole book in the form of chapters. So again, you can easily click through the chapters and it will show you the chapter that you want to read. The next one are downloads. So this is the section where you can download all the stuff that we make available for you. So first of all, the posters. So all of the posters that we are creating will be added here, and you can download them either just clicking on the poster, or you can download them from the menu here.
And these downloads are print ready, is that right?
Yes, so they're all print ready. This is PDF version, which you can, most of them you can print even in A0 format. So the huge one that David has on the wall. And the quality will stay high even for A0. Usually in the name of the poster, we indicate what is the original format of the poster. So this one, for example, is A1, but we also printed A1 poster as A0 and the quality is good. So these are the posters. We also prepared for you some infographics. So when you click on it, you can see the grid with all infographics. And when you open the menu, you can also access the infographics from the menu here. The next thing are videos. So these are the videos that you can find mostly through our trusted pages. So these are videos either from David Anderson School of Management or from Kanban University or from our other partners and IKTs or coaches who organize webinars, who organize Kanban related events. So this is stuff that we keep adding. So also shout out to all of you who are doing different Kanban events or webinars. If you see that your video is not available here and you want it to be available for others, just let us know and we'll add it in 5 minutes. No issue with that. In the article section, this is something new, but we wanted to give you access to some additional stuff which is not directly from the book, but is related to the book, but it's too big for the simple blog post. So these are really like longer pieces of work and pieces of content, which you can again access and read. So this is sort of supplementary stuff for the book. And finally, you have case studies either from the book itself. So this is what we have right now, XI, Deposit Science, and Corbis. But also in the future, we plan to add here all case studies, which will be directly related to the content of a book. So in Better with Kanban, you will have Kanban method, more basic case studies probably. In KMM Plus, some KMM Plus implementation. In Fit for Purpose Plus, Fit for Purpose implementation. So this is it for now. And again, you can access these products from this menu. Every time you can go back to your account and update it, and you can easily navigate everything on one screen. So now let me go back to the presentation to show you what we plan next. So in the next steps, like next month, we'll be opening Better with Kanban. So basically everything that I have shown to you today plus more, because over the next couple of days, we'll be adding remaining content, new posters, new infographics, videos, and articles. So this stuff will be available to you in November. And if you want to know when exactly, please subscribe to newsletter or follow our social media, like LinkedIn pages. So this is where we'll share this information with you. After that, so end of this year, beginning of next year, we'll be moving KMM Plus and Fit for Purpose Plus content from current platform to Kanban Plus, so you can access everything in one place. We'll be also adding contributors feature and corporate accounts feature with all of these updated functions. Something new that is also based on your request. So to make this content more personalized, but also easier to use, we'll be adding the option to bookmark, to highlight some stuff. You will be also able to receive notifications. So this is where you can actually make this product really personalized and customized for your needs. And we want 2024 to be the tools year. So what we plan to do is developing tools which will help you to use Kanban. So of course, we won't be developing Kanban boards builders, because there is already a lot of products like this in the market, and Joey knows it the best.
Yeah.
But we see that there are some tools which are missing, for example, KMM Appraisal or Fit for Purpose tools like Questionnaire, like Box Score, like A to Z Matrix, that we plan to develop, and we plan to offer them to you for use. So you don't need to do the stuff in Google Forms. You don't need to use Excel files anymore. You will have these things available easily in Kanban Plus. So the new Kanban Plus will allow you, first of all, something that David already mentioned. So you will have one source of knowledge. Because right now, and it's true also for us, we need to look at different places for knowledge. We are looking for different articles, books scattered around our office. So we're having Kanban Plus. You are just logging into one place, and all Kanban method related knowledge will be there eventually. So we are starting with Fit for Purpose KMM and Better with Kanban, but in the future, we just want to transfer all our materials there. You will choose what you need. So if you are Kanban coach and probably you need KMM, you can choose KMM Plus. If you are more working as user experience specialist, if you are working directly with your customers, if you collect your customer feedback and you want things to be easier for you, you probably will choose Fit for Purpose Plus. If you just want to learn about the basics and how to implement the Kanban method, you will choose Better with Kanban Plus. But you will be also able to mix these products. So say you are Kanban coach, but you also collect feedback from your customers, then you can mix Fit for Purpose and KMM Plus together. So we'll give you as much flexibility as we are able to do. Also, we'll introduce these features which will help you to personalize your experience. So I already mentioned bookmarks, highlights, but also in the future, we plan to introduce something that we call a personal cabinet. So this is where you will be able to create your own projects and actually link the materials that we have to the projects that you are working on. And last but not least, I already mentioned tools. So this is something that we plan to focus on next year to make it available for you and easier for you to implement Kanban in your organizations. So I already encourage you to go to our page, Kanban.plus, and Better with Kanban Plus. But now a few words about the pre-sale. So as I mentioned, next month, we will make Better with Kanban Plus available for you, so you can sail around this content and access it. But we know that there is a lot of early birds among our users and customers. So for those of you who would like to have an immediate access to this content next month, but also save on pre-sale, we would like to present you this offer. So right now we are giving you 20% discount on your annual subscription to Better with Kanban Plus. And if you decide to buy your annual subscription between today and the day of launch of the new platform, then you have chance to save 20% of that. And the day when the platform is available, you will receive information from us, and you can use the special code that you will receive during payment to use it and to access platform immediately. So you can either access this pre-sale offer from our page, Kanban.plus, or you can scan this QR code and go directly to the pre-sale page. So on Better with Kanban, annual price will be 49.5 euros. And early bird access, you can have the same annual subscription for 39.5 euros per year.